I started this YouTube channel up in February 2025 and I needed something unique to make a great video for this channel. Challenges, finance, stupidity and pain. That's what works on this platform. And with all them in mind, I decided to make this video. I went out and bought every single commercially available Sunderland Association Football Club shirt. And for the start of this, we must start at the end. Have you ever, as a grown adult, thought, you know what would be a great idea? Waiting outside for a t-shirt launch from before midnight. Me, as a grown adult, I have. Twice. So the original idea for this video was I go out, buy a load of retro shirts, and I have this big grand finale finish where I actually wait in line for the launch of the 2025-2026 season shirts. And that's good. Unfortunately, things change along the way. I buy more shirts than I planned for. So I'm starting this video at the end where I actually went out there and I waited in line for all of the latest shirts. Now this year's season launches, they did a lot of special things for it at the Sunderland store, where if you waited overnight for the away shirt, you got treated to seaside theme with deck chairs, Candy Rock, ice cream van. I missed out on that because I decided, you know what, what's the point in sitting and waiting for a shirt to release when you can just order it online? However, it took a week to send out, so I decided for the home shirt release, screw it, I'm going to wait in line and I'm going to try and be first. The plan was to get the hotel that's next to it, have a room for the night. Donna can stay there for the night and she can supply me with stuff as I wait in line. And I thought, you know, go over at midnight. No one's going to be waiting before midnight. When we were back from a meal at the stables, I saw this one guy sitting there waiting and I was like, are you waiting for the home shirt? He was like, yeah. I'm like, all right then, I'm joining you. And that was around about 8 p.m. So this was a fun wait as we waited from 8 p.m. as the store opened at around about 8 o'clock as well. So it was a full 12-hour wait. Luckily, I had the foresight to go out and buy a chair, have some supplies and whatnot. The lad in front of us did not, but luckily somebody gave him a chair. The perks of this was as the night went on and as it went into day, you got to see the setup of the whole staging, which was going to be a photo shoot with the playoff trophy. And being second in line's not that bad, especially for like the home shirt. We got in and the home shirt release was great, but this made me more determined. For the third shirt release, I was going to be first in line. For this, I decided what time does the store close on the next day, which was around about 6 o'clock. So I took my chair, I sat my arse down and I waited. It was crazy considering it's just the third shirt, but the third shirt release, personally, my personal favourite, absolutely loved it. And as this was a whole collection video and the cost is a big thing, when you are first in line for a shirt, especially when you wait absolute hours, you get it for free. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to talk a bit about the shirt, I'm going to tell you how much it costs, where I got it from, and my personal star rating on how difficult it was to acquire. As I get deeper into this video, you're going to find out there's different variants of shirts. You can get long sleeve, short sleeve, ones with sponsors, ones without sponsors, ones are remade, some are fan remade. There is so many different variants as I dip my toe into retro shirt collecting, and this is just the beginning. My original goal was just buy a short sleeve, Sunderland top, one from a different decade. Each get more difficult, obviously, as we go back in time. So here's how I got on, and we'll start with the latest shirts. And here we are. First up, the away shirt. As you can see, still great neck, fantastic pattern there. The details are amazing on these, by the way, like the City by the Sea, the lyrics in the back neck part here. Like even the sponsor kind of like fits with the whole design, and I think that this is possibly one of the best like away shirts that we've ever had. It has a bit of Sunderland woven into it, and you'll find that with all of the shirts from this season. Obviously, you're going to have this one and all of this year's shirts as 1 star because they're easy to find on Sunderland store. Prices are there. This one I ordered off the online, so there's no Barclays patch on it. However, it did get my name on the back. And let's move on to the next. And here we are, the third kit, the black kit. Currently known as the Cursed Kit. This is an amazing shirt. Like the different in the badge being the gunmetal black cat. Like the fact the sponsors kind of like blend in with it. The Hummel, I actually got the Barclays patch on this one. And look at that, cat's eye yellow with the cat's eyes on the back and the origin story of where the Black Cats nickname came from. Now you'll see on the close-ups there's a like mandala pattern, 11 Black Cats in that pattern, which all represent one of the players from the first team. I think it's just amazing. Like, it's not cursed. It's an amazing black shirt, and I think this will go down as one of the best shirts ever released. And finally, we have the home shirt. Our home record this season has been amazing, and honestly, like, this shirt, like the colours, the trim, like the nod to the 80s shirt, patch on, obviously name on the back. Again, 1 star from Sunderland shop, and waiting in line for this was worth it. I know, like, when it was first released, there was a lot of like people like, oh, it's a black centralised crest and whatnot, and it doesn't look good kind of thing. But as soon as the shutters went open on the release of this shirt, there was audible gasps of like, wow. And I've got the video on my shorts there, but this shirt I absolutely love. That ends this season's shirts. Or does it? So what's in the box? Obviously, match-worn shirts. Says it in the name. And with it, in that box, there is a official shirt. And it is from, like, say, it's signed by Harrison Jones, number 50. And it was worn at the Craig Gordon testimonial where we lost 3-0 to Hearts in pre-season. And the reason I bought it was mainly because it's the testimonial sleeve. It is a different version of this year's home shirt. Obviously, there is squad-worn ones, which has the white panel on the back, which aren't on retail sale, and I'm still yet to get one, but I'm hopefully going to get one in the future. The match-worn shirt, it's a medium. It's not going to fit us, but I want it, like, the completionist in me wants to get as many versions and every version of the shirts. And you'll find this later on, and we'll stick it up there. We'll put it up there as a rareness of like 5-star because there is only one of it in the world. And I was lucky enough to get it. And that finishes this season. Just going to interject here, I actually ended up getting the player issue of the Hummel shirt this season's. There we go, as you see, official tag. This came in on eBay, and I don't know how or why it is out there in the wild, but it was, and there we go. And it was a reasonably priced one as well, so thank you. Unfortunately, took it to the club shop, tried to get my name on the back, but the club shop don't print on the match-worn ones, as they don't know where I've got it from, and to them it's not an official Sunderland shirt. So I'm gonna try and get my name on some other way. Now, follow me as we go back in time, starting with the 2020s. I'm going to run down all the 2020 shirts, and I know that it's not like the end of 2020, we're only halfway there, but this is what I categorise as the Phoenix era. I'm going to try and run through this as quick as possible because you're probably not going to be bored if I'm going to go through and lethargically go through every single shirt in detail. But what you're going to get is you're going to have a pop-up, it's going to have a star rating, where I bought it from, how much it cost, and at the end of each section, we're going to go through the running total and just how much debt I'm in. 24-25 season, this is considered possibly the best set of shirts that we've ever had. The red and white stripes home shirt, which has the boat design on the side there. Absolutely iconic. It was voted one of the best shirts of the year across the whole of the league. So on to the away shirt. The away shirt, obviously this is a retro remix of the away shirt, but it is a homage to the 1992 FA Cup final shirt. And, you know, it's the one we won the playoff in. It's absolutely iconic. Amazing, like, design, fantastic character, and using the old badge, which a lot of us appreciated. Yeah, the third strip, this one is an out-of-the-box one. It was affectionately known as the Wetherspoons plate design. However, if you look closely at it, like the details, it's the pit wheel with the ribbons on, which is the top of our current crest. I think it's a good shirt. Like I know a lot of people are kind of rubbed up the wrong way because it was different, but different is good. And personally, I'm a fan of it. 24-25 home shirt. The red and white stripes with the white shoulder patches, done by Nike. It's a good shirt. Not one of my favourites. The Spread X sponsor ruins it, but Spread X sponsors aren't really a favourite of any Sunderland fans. Moving on to the away shirt, it is very pink. It is super pink, and this one was a wee one because, like, despite it being the second shirt, it never really got used as much. And that means we're on to the third shirt, which is the bright yellow and cobalt blue sleeves. Now this shirt, this shirt. Let me tell you about this shirt. This shirt is possibly one of the hardest ones I had to like look for. Like, the thing is, you think it's only been like 2 seasons and you should be able to easily get like these quickly. No, the club for some reason decided this shirt will be limited edition, super limited edition. And when you think of all the fake shirts out there, trying to get an official one of these, absolute nightmare. It took me about 9 months into the hunt to actually get one. It was so bad. It was so bad for me. I went out and bought the blank template. And what I was going to do is I was just going to get like these printed off like on my own, and I was just going to get a blank shirt and print my own kind of bootleg one off, because it was so bloody hard to get one of these in my size. The problem is with all of the fakes out there, the pattern, the like Nike ticks here, and there's like a dry fit thing there. And as you can see, like on the official, because this is off the official Nike site, you can see there, but the fake ones had them. And I even got to the point, like I went to a British Heart Foundation website and one of these came up, and I initially bought, I was so desperate, I didn't bother looking, I just bought it and it came back as a fake. Went to try and cancel it, but they still sent it out, so I had to do this whole dance. And this was just 8 months of pain trying to get this. So if you're at home and you've got one of these, it's limited edition. Like I say, it took me 8 months to find one that was actually affordable, and I was so lucky to. I thought I'd never get this shirt. That's why this one's a 5-star on hard. It was just limited edition. Like, and now as a retro collector, if you're getting into the market for them, these are so hard to come by. And these are actually, like, I think the prices are like a lot more than what they actually started with. Like, the value has shot up, and I think in the long run, like one of these shirts, like official one, you're going to end up having to pay into the hundreds just for it. And I was lucky enough to get this for a relatively cheap price. But honestly, if you're out there collecting retro shirts, and if you're collecting Sunderland retro shirts, this one, absolute nightmare to get hold of, but worth it. So back on with the 2022-23 season. Home shirt, the iconic red and white with the black trim around there. Obviously, the season of Ahmad and Roberts. It's got to be. Tony Mowbray ball was an absolute delight to watch. Away strip, surprisingly, this one was a lot more difficult to get hold of, because once again, I think the away one, this one's like a light blue with the stripes, and it was difficult to get hold of, and there's not that many out there. Under the 21-22 season, our last kit in League One, the one we escaped with, and it is basic. It is a basic red and white stripe, and honestly, it's good. It's got memories of Ross Stewart there for me personally, but it's a basic kit. There wasn't much put into it. The Great Annual Savings, I don't even know if that company's still around. And onto the away one, the very yellow, and we've got a thing with yellow kits. Like, I think they've tried to recapture what we had in the 80s with the yellow kits, but nothing's quite stuck. The Silicon badge was a little bit tricky though, to get one that isn't like peeling off, because I understand that was quite a big defect with these ones. The 2020 to 2021 season, once again, it's like a basic red and white. The little Hawaii lads in the collar was a decent touch, but nothing that really like pushed the board out, especially for a League One club. The away shirt as well, just like a similar one to the season that was before it, which was like a navy blue. A nice little like pattern that was subliminated in it, but nothing really to write home about. So that's the end of the 2020s. However, I have something special. It's another match-worn shirt. And this one is not just any match-worn shirt. This comes from another defeat. I don't actually think we've won a match when we've put them up for a match-worn shirt thing. So it's an interesting statistic out there so far. Oh, you can smell it. That's one of the things with these. This is for our 24-25 season, as you can see, spread X. But look there. That is the climate awareness badge. That is a special one-of-a-kind edition. And this, I had to go for number 8. It's Alan Brown shirt. Absolutely. The thing is, I liked Alan Brown as a player for us. I know he's at Borough now, but absolutely loved it. You can see it's got all the patches and everything on, and it's even signed by Alan himself. So this is a great thing, and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to treasure it. And I don't know if you can see here, but if you look closely at the details, there's still mud on from Coventry Stadium there. And we lost this game 3-0. It was another one of those kind of, oh, it's humiliating, we're getting beat off Coventry again. Is there any way we can ever beat them? Who knew later in the season what would happen. But this shirt is special because the club did a whole climate change awareness where the ship badge is slightly underwater, getting this one of a kind, like only the players who played there, and there was only like about 14, 15 of these shirts and 2 goalkeeper ones in existence in the world with that badge on. And I own 2 of them. So it cost a lot. It did. It cost an absolute fortune. So it's going up as a 5-star. It's going up as quite expensive, but this is worth it. This was a time where Sunderland stood up to give, like, just to remind people, you know, the world's kind of like, the climate's in trouble, and it's give us this badge. Then this is a one-of-a-kind shirt, which I'll keep and I'll treasure. And honestly, it's a museum piece in my eyes. So that ends the 2020 look at the shirts. Let's do a recap.
And Seb Larson, stunning!
Now Wearside is in mourning.
Wembley, so cruel for Sunderland again!
So let's continue with the 2010s, which was our downfall decade. And let's get into it. 2019 to 2020 shirt here, the Children with Cancer one. I got this from the Fans Museum, which has a huge range of shirts that's available to buy, old and new. This is one of the only ones in the collection, as I bought mostly off Vinted and eBay, and I'm surprised I didn't actually buy more from there. I'm going on to the away shirt, and this one is an interesting one because if you remember, we used to have Betdac as the sponsor, but it was given up to the Children with Cancer charity. And if you're lucky, you can see the Betdac, which is just underneath any of the sponsors, because back then our owners had already had Betdac shirts printed, and rather than start from scratch, they just stuck the thing over it. So there'll be a few out there that's knocking about, and I think that adds value to it, but not much. 2018, 2019 now, and not very good memories, as this was our attempt to get out of League One via the playoffs. It's a normal red and white stripes for the home shirt. A few little interesting designs here and there with it, but nothing much to write home about. And the away shirt, the infamous black away shirt. I actually like this for like a black shirt. I know, like, in the time, like, we tend to steer away from anything like black because of the whole black and white association. But this all black shirt, it was really good, and unfortunately we didn't get the result in the playoff final. It's amazing to think like where we've come from to where we are now. And this shirt's just one of them reminders. For the third kit, this is an interesting one. It is a powder blue kind of third kit. Nothing really interesting to write home about. I can't remember what the advertising for it was, but it's just a generic third kit. I think it was just a way for the owners to try and make more money. An interesting year, this one, 2017, 2018. We've just been relegated from the Premiership. It's our first season back in the Championship. Obviously, we're high on trying to get promoted back up, and we go for possibly one of the ugliest home shirts, in my opinion. That's controversial, I know, but there was a lot of that. The Daffer Bet sponsor didn't go. The stripes, in my opinion, were too thin. But that's a home shirt. The away shirt, just a basic powder blue away with Daffer Bet. And we released the third shirt, which was like a charcoaly grey, dark grey with the yellow stripes down. And they advertised that as trying to promote our coal mining heritage. Unfortunately, the team took that on board as literally and dug as low as they could that season and got relegated to League One for the first time in God knows how long. Now with this one, like I say, it was a weird season because we had the Bradley Lowry sponsorship, which went with the whole club, and being connected to the charity meant that we had some very interesting like home shirt variations. And when I started this, all I wanted to do was go out, just get the one shirt. That's it. Just get like the one shirt. But then when the completionist in me sees that there's other versions, you go out and get the one there with the For Bradley charity centerpiece on, and you can also get the unsponsored version. So I ended up buying like 3 versions of this shirt all at once. So I'll put it up for the unsponsored version first. These are actually quite rare to get hold of because I know they released them with the unsponsored version because of the connection to the charity. So that was an interesting one. Obviously, you could also get the one with the sponsor on still, if you wished. It was a great idea for like variety and choice. And obviously, you've seen the home shirt initially, but the Bradley versions, it's a great charity. Oh, just put them over there. The Bradley versions, it's a great charity. It was something that the club supports and still supports to this day, which is great to see. And it's great to see like Bradley's family still connected to the club and still in this day and age working with us. And I think every Sunderland fan was touched by his story. And this is great to see that we actually have it there enshrined in history now. There's a version of the shirt that pays homage to Bradley and his fight against cancer. And it's just fantastic that we can actually like own a piece of history, and that's there forever now. It's a great way to remember him. So we'll continue on. 2016 to 2017 season, starting off with the home shirt. These red and white shirts with the gold trim. I thought it looked pretty smart. It's definitely one that you shouldn't get relegated in, because like a shirt like that, when you see a good shirt come out, you know you're going to have a good season. And this one kind of went against the grain with that. But then again, David Moyes coming out after 2 weeks and saying we're in a relegation battle and basically giving up then and there, kind of cursed it. Going on to the away shirt. Now, the away shirt, this is a homage to the rare white and blue one that we had a few seasons before. More on that in a minute. And this one here, it just has the stripe across. And I liked it. And even better, we go to the third kit, which is the pink and purple stripe one. Now, this one was a very divisive one at the time, if I remember correctly. But personally, it was out of the box. It was something new. It was something different. I liked it. And as we saw in earlier shirts, like later down the line, we'd go back to pink and slightly purplish colours, and it's worked out. Now, once again, the goal for this was to get the short sleeve version of it, but I know, completionist in me sees them, and I got the long sleeve version as well. This one was pretty easy to find, but unfortunately, one wash through and the sponsor became damaged just from one wash. And the thing is, I'm very careful with washing these things, and it's something I think the club should do. Like, dear David Bruce or anyone in there, you should have a collection of all the old sponsors from Sunderland shirts and vinyl ones, and offer a service where you'll remove these and replace the old ones. Like, I'd pay £20 to get like that, £20 to £30 to get this restored, and it'll make the shirt great again. And the thing is, like, you can reuse as many shirts as possible, like all the old retro shirts. If there was like a sponsor replacement offering at the club store or something like that, you know, not just Sunderland, any club can do it. I know there's a few people on Instagram or on YouTube who do it like in their own time as a hobby, but if the clubs did it, like all of these shirts that end up going into landfill or just getting wasted, it'd be reduced greatly, and I think it'd be great for the environment. So please, anybody, any club, anybody in football, make this a mainstream thing, repairing sponsors, because the amount of shirts I've came across in this whole collection where the sponsors were damaged and it's ruined it. But unfortunately, this one was ruined, but still a good shirt, and I will get it repaired at some point. 15 to 16 season shirts now, and the home shirt starting off with the red stripes. Reasonably expensive for the time. I mean, yes, it is about 10 years ago, but it was quite a challenge to try and get one that was in good nick. Once again, refer back to the long sleeve shirt, all the damage, terrible. Now going on to the away shirt, the green and yellow. This was another one that kind of divided fans, like, oh, it's ugly, it's green. And I think even to this day, a lot of fans think like this wasn't, but personally, I remember Jimmy and Defoe putting us one up against the visitors. And that's another one. I had to get the long sleeve version of it. Like the differences here in the sleeve, like the airing and whatnot, like it's having to find this in good nick was quite a challenge, and remarkably it was quite cheap, which I was quite pleasantly surprised at. Yeah, it's a good one. 2014 to 15. Personally, one of my more memorable seasons, the Gus Poyet era. Bid vest red and white from Adidas. This was a really good shirt, like centralised, like sponsor. Honestly, it was one of those ones, like I say, the memories connect the shirt and make it better. Like, usually this would be a kind of like, oh, it's a bog standard one, but Fabio Barini's goals, all of these memories connected to this season and this shirt. Home shirt, absolutely outstanding. So the away strip for this season was like a blue with a black stripe design. I actually like this. I don't know if it's like a cerulean blue or something like that, but this absolutely made it stand out. And obviously, you connected with players and whatnot, and certain players who we may have signed on loan and then accidentally forgot to put in certain clauses, so we ended up being forced to buy them. You know who I mean. But this away shirt, absolutely, it's a beautiful one. And if you remember that season, we actually had a third kit. That third kit was only for the players only, wasn't it? Yes, it was. I was so stoked with this because I thought I would never get a chance to buy something like this. And basically with this third kit, there were some made, and from my understanding behind the story of it was that the kit man gave it to the players and the players then gave it to friends. And it was not available for commercial release. It was never released retail wise. And I know this is a challenge for all the retail available shirts, but technically this came up for sale on eBay and bidding started. And obviously with these shirts, I know there was a lot that was fan made due to the fact that it was just a template shirt. However, I managed to get one that was one of the players' shirts. Now it's a difficult thing to validate, but I was lucky enough. This was only one game where we beat Crystal Palace 3-1. And I got one of the goal scorer shirts. Now out there, I know there's a long sleeve version of this with Stephen Fletcher on that somebody has. But to my knowledge, I have Wes Brown shirt. Obviously, it's not going to fit me. This is a medium. And the thing with the Wes Brown shirt is, like, you think you've got to look for things to say, like, this isn't just fan made. This isn't like printed on. Like the sponsor, as you can see, is properly printed on there. And the badge, I don't know if you can see that up close. Like usually with the fan-made ones, the badges are slightly bigger. This is properly stitched on. Not only that, it has all of the patches, the Premier League patch, the Wes Brown on the back, his number, and he has signed it. So this is, to my knowledge, 90% official. Because if not, I've put myself out there in the public domain saying that I've paid £596 for a fake shirt. But honestly, it is like I've done so much research and so much like cross-checking with this. Like the printing is absolutely spot on. It is like up to the standard of what the kit man would have done. And even though it's not in my size, boo-hoo, I have the third shirt. This is one of two that I can understand that's out there in the wild at the moment. Like say this long sleeve Stephen Fletcher one's out there. There's a lot of fan-made ones, which are being great for using reference to like kind of stack up against to make sure that this is definitely official. And obviously like Wes Brown's signature is real as well. So this is a fantastic collector's piece. I am absolutely enamored with it. Like just the quality, that's the thing. It's the quality of the shirt that made it for me. And this is the most expensive shirt in my whole collection. Never in my life did I think that I'd be spending over £500 on a shirt, but here we are. 2013-2014 home shirt. Now this is the cup final shirt. This is I think it's quite understated. It's like white collar, red and white stripes, the bid vest sponsor. I absolutely love this shirt. And the thing was, with this one, obviously you're connected to your memories. And the away shirt, who could forget it? That yellow one, the 3-0 victory against Newcastle at St James's Park. You know, like you say, these things, the shirts connect the memories. And it's a really good shirt. Like, that celebration, absolutely memorable. Once again, cup final one, I had to get the long sleeve version. I had to get the long sleeve version for that because this shirt is one of the more memorable ones in recent history. The Gus Poyet years, like, what's not to love about it? Now, 2012 to 2013, quite a weird year for us as we decided to go for a sponsor of Invest in Africa. Interesting home shirt with the red under the sleeves. Really good fit, and it was one of those ones where you felt like the club was actually going through a transition. This wasn't that long after Ellis Short took over, and we're going in a new direction. One of the things to exemplify going in a new direction was the away shirt, which was kind of like a dark bluey green kind of colour, the colour scheme that we've never really seen before. And like I say, the Invest in Africa sponsor was really out there. But it's one of those ones that's memorable, even though it was just for the one season. And honestly, I had to get the long sleeve away one as well. This one came with patches, which is great. One of the things I will say about these Invest in Africa shirts, and we're going to have to bring it up close here. I don't know if you can see how poor the stitching is on the top there. Like that. When I initially bought these shirts, and it's the same with the short sleeve version, I initially thought that these were fakes because that is just terrible stitching, and whatever embroidery they used or embroidery machine, it just didn't work en masse. But these shirts, still official. I made sure of it. You'll find on the inside, especially the Adidas ones, you'll find the little tag here with the QR codes just over there. And there's a code on the other side there. That's the shorts official. And this is 100% official and not fake. So That was a bit difficult to try and like work my head around at one point, but it's great to have the long sleeve version because I think it's underrated. I think it's like a mint green and dark blue. It's not really one of those ones that'll be remembered fondly by the fans, but it symbolises change for me. That's probably why I like it. 2011, 2012, and it's one of those iconic Umbro ones, isn't it? Harking back to the earlier strips with Sunderland, the black collar around there, red and white stripes. It's classic vintage Sunderland. Not overly keen on the sponsor, especially if you own one of these shirts, you'll know that the Tombola sponsors are an absolute blooming nightmare. And then we'll go on to the away shirt. The vintage, the classic, the Seb Larsson blue and white. That free kick against ours. Like, ask any Sunderland supporter, this shirt, name the first player that pops your mind, it's going to be Seb Larsson. Finishing off this decade at the 2010, 2011, another home shirt, another red and white one, Tombola sponsor. The collar was a little weird. That's something I'd remember from that one. Darren Bent comes to mind with these shirts. And that also continues on into the away shirt, which was kind of like an off cream with a kind of like burgundy trim. Really interesting colour choice. And like the sponsor, once again, not overly keen on it, but like that shirt and the memories, like Steve Bruce actually doing a decent job at the time. And that's the end of the 2010s, now on to the 2000s. And I think I'll say this is like the half time of the video. I'm going to go change settings because you're probably bored of watching me stand in the corner of my room with the light peering at me with an absolute mess behind me. So I'm going to change surroundings for the next part. 2009, 2010 now, and we're going straight in with the Boyle Sports Umbro one, and this was an interesting one as this seemed like a celebration kind of one. On the inside of the collar you had the 2009 kickoff, 2010 finish, which was a nice touch, but the thing with these was it was the shield badges. These were absolutely impeccable in my opinion, and you've got to remember these ones, once again, players that are connected with it, Darren Bent and whatnot, the red and white home one, that imprint of the badge around the shield, there's like an imprint in there. That is absolutely spectacular. Moving on to the away one, which was a simple white one with this light yellow trim with the black sleeves. Absolutely amazing shirt. And if you look on the back, there's a little black cat. And there's something I've noticed with all of our shirts. Whenever we have the black cat featured on them, we do well that season. So it might be a case that, you know, maybe get more black cats on the shirts in the future. I had to go out and get the long sleeve one. This was the last long sleeve version that I really got. But look at it, look at that. That is an amazing shirt. Like I say, the shield on the crest and that, and how we turn around, the little black cat. Like, absolutely amazing shirt. And as I say, lots of good fond memories of this. And I don't know if you can see the pattern there, but there's like white stripes going down as well. And the little inside thing, indent, fantastic shirt. So 2008, 2009 season, the red and white one again. Simple red and white one, Boyle Sports sponsor. Also it had like the black kind of like lining in the pit, which kind of separated it a bit. Really good shirt, got good fond memories of this one. Moving on to the away one, it's back to a blue, dark blue and normal blue navy kind of stripe one. Interesting shirt, bit similar to the 0102 away shirt as well. It's not a bad thing to go back to the well, and it went down great. 2007, 2008, I have a personal fondness for this one as this was the year that my daughter was born at the end of this season. So I had this shirt, and this the 07, 08 one, the red and white one. You know, it's simple, and the inside colour had the black hat on again. Once again, decent year. And I like these ones because the red and white one, and then you had the away one, which was in an all white one, straightforward, basic, like no frills, just straight down to business. And then we move on to the third one, which was similar to the other away one. Instead of just being all white, it was all blue. It looked the business. It actually looked the business, and I actually like this one as a third shirt. And I think the 07-08 season, that was a decent collection there. 06-07, our championship season. Remember how long ago that was? The old Lonsdale one, the Roy Keane era, red and white with the red stripes across the top. Decent home kit. The away kit was like kind of a light blue away one, and this was obviously the last year that we used the legendary Reg Vardy, and it was a great sponsor, and this was a fitting end as we got promoted in this shirt, and lots of good memories there. Move on to the away one, and the away one, the black one, which has been re-released by the club, as I am understanding they have the license for the Lonsdale one, so we may see the Lonsdale re-releases for the home shirts maybe later on. We've definitely seen the goalkeeper one, which was a grey one, and the away one was an interesting all black one as well. 04-05 season, and this is the Diodora kits, the ones we got promoted back to the Premiership in. Now these ones were interesting as they were just a red and white. Personally, I don't think they put much effort into these ones, as it's just Diodora. It was just a different make, and it wasn't really well liked at the club. I remember like Diodora used to be that brand that people used to laugh at you for going into school with, and I think it still is to this day. And moving on to the away shirt, it was in all white. Like I say, plain, basic, straightforward, got the job done. Obviously, we've got the memories of being promoted in it, but outside of that, meh. Going back to the early 2000s, and obviously this is like the last of the earlier iterations of the Nike ones that we used in the 2000s. Red and white. It was a decent looking one, actually. I personally liked it. Move on to the away one, which was like a dark navy with a kind of like red accented trim. Really decent one, actually, and I think this one was made because of that third strip a few seasons before that, where everybody liked it, and I think they just went, oh, well, everybody liked that as a third strip, let's do it as an away one, which we've already done before with the blue and white one, and it worked. Now 02-03, and I'm only looking at the away one as we used the home one for 2 seasons. Can you as a football fan remember a time where clubs used to use the same home shirt over 2 or 3 seasons? We're going that far back now. And like I say, with this one, it's just the away one. It is a blue, powdery blue kind of away one. Decent enough, a bit more unusual than what we usually had, and it worked. It's nothing to write home about, but it's not one of the more memorable ones, is it? Now, 2001, 2002, really good shirts, these ones. And this was like, kind of like near the end of the Peter Reid era, as it was kind of like petering out. We'd had finished 7th twice, but these shirts kind of like, they were the job. And the blue and dark blue, light blue kind of stripe pattern, which was really good. And it was a really good away shirt. However, I came across something very interesting with this one. Now, where have I put it? Sit down, because this is possibly one of the more interesting ones. And yes, I know I've paid over £50,000 for a shirt. I know I've got like limited edition match worn ones that there's only like 1 or 2 of them in the world. But this shirt, I can guarantee you, there is only one of it in the world. And this shirt is a prototype. So the official one of these was the red trim with the white Nike tick. Now this is the one that ended up getting printed. This one is the prototype. So when you get clubs looking into shirts and into making shirts, they make a few of different kind ones, and these ones, like in research and development, these ones usually wouldn't leave the shop floor. Like if it wasn't picked, it'll have been binned, obviously because of secrecy, because of non-disclosures and whatnot. You don't want people knowing the process. You only want them to see the final product, and you don't really want them to look and go, oh, well, that one could have been made, that would have been better. You don't really want that. You just want the one product that you're finished on and you want out there. But somehow this shirt escaped research and development. And the funny story with this is, I was watching a YouTuber called Eddie Bamber. Hello, Eddie. Thank you for putting the video out there for this, because I wouldn't have known about this. And he made a video on this, looking into it, as somebody, I think it was in Jakarta, on Twitter, had posted up that this shirt was out there, and it was on an auction site. And that was the last that was ever heard of it. And it was like, do you like the trim and whatnot? And that got me interested. So out of nowhere, like the fortune, how fortunate is this? Some might call it fate. So I looked on eBay, and after watching that video, I typed in prototype Sunderland, hoping that a prototype shirt for Sunderland would come up. And what was there? What was there? Front and center. This. Now this one, it's absolutely amazing, like coincidence. And I can't believe like anybody else could have found it, but this is that shirt. This is the shirt from Eddie Bamber's video. This is the research and development gold/yellow trim alternative of the 0102 away shirt. And I absolutely, once again, like I say, it's either like I've used up all my luck for my life, or this is fate that I ended up with this shirt for this challenge. So I asked, I instantly, like didn't even think about it. I went out and I bought it. And for how rare it is and for the type of shirt it is, like, it is a reasonable price. Like, I think I bought it from Italy. Interesting, like, how does it get from Jakarta to Italy? We'll find out. So I messaged the seller and I was like, you know, just out of interest, like, where did you get the shirt from? Because my knowledge going back to it is it was on an auction site and then it disappeared. And they came back to it. And I'll be sending you a link of this because I did say I'm going to make a video on it. And this shirt ended up in a flea market on the outskirts of Rome. And how it's got from Jakarta to Rome, I don't know. But they said that they were interested by it because they follow Sunderland. We're a massive club. And it was just there. So they've bought it and they've had, obviously you can see on the inside, it's actually been worn. Like the tag's slightly faded there. It's been worn, but it's been kept in good condition. And I'll get close and I don't know if you can see like just the quality there of the Reg Vardy. That isn't like official sponsor. That's just like a placeholder kind of felt. It's not raised or anything. It's just like a flat felt, like as opposed to like the kind of raised bubble sponsorship here on the normal shirt. So this research and development one has been out there and there is only one of a kind in the world from my understanding. I own it. So having this shirt on this challenge and the fact that I was watching a video on this exact shirt being in existence and just by happening to type in on eBay at that time and I managed to buy it immediately. Like, honestly, the universe can line up in weird ways and this is just, it's absolutely outstanding. And thank you to the seller from Italy. You know, this is now home. It's back in Sunderland. It's where it belongs. And I'll be honest, it's like a museum piece because we as customers never get to see the prototypes. We never get to own a piece of, like, you know, the development method behind it and that. And getting to hold this, like, I'm absolutely chuffed that this is back in Sunderland. And like me as a collector, I'm going to treasure it. I'm going to like take care of it. Like, I'm rarely going to wear, like, I have wore it, but I'm rarely going to wear it because this is history here. And I am over the moon to have it. And we'll finish with the 0102 away kit, which was the iconic Kevin Phillips white one, where it had like a kind of like bib cut down, where one side was like shiny, but was like kind of more breathable around the sides. It's an iconic one. I'd love to get the long sleeve version of it. Quite expensive now. And like, honestly, having the prototype shirt was absolutely amazing. Having all of these other shirts. And once again, the home shirt for this period with a black round it, like good memories that are weaved into here. And now we're getting into the like business end of it, where the 90s, where there'll be not that many shirts because we used to use like the same shirt for 4 seasons at a time. But obviously the age of them now, you're looking at 30-year-old shirts, 40-year-old shirts, like shirts that are almost as old as me. And I will put out there the 0102, the legendary third shirt, which we wore once. I haven't managed to get hold of that one yet. I'm still out there. If anybody, any rare collectors out there has it, I'm looking for it. In for a penny, in for a pound, or a lot. And speaking of pounds, here's a recap of how much we're at the moment. Now on to 1999 to 2000, the start of the millennium. We're just settling into the Stadium of Light now, and we're starting to build up some momentum. And these ones are the first ones, is the red and white one, and this is where we switched our sponsor from Lambton's over to Reg Vardy for the first time. It's a really neat, it's one of them iconic, memorable ones, you know, the Kevin Phillips, Niall Quinn era. Red and white one, amazing shirt for the home shirt. Moving over to the away shirt, and the away shirt it's a similar one to the year before, only a different sponsor on. It is the dark navy with the red and white stripe. This was voted for by the fans the year before, and we'll get into that next. Interesting one with the 98-99, and this is with the ASICS one. With the Reg Vardy sponsor, I managed to get hold of an interesting shirt, and this was a training wear one. Now, to my knowledge, this wasn't retailly available from what I understand, but there we go. I think this was the one they used in the academy or in training or whatnot, obviously with training wear, kind of says it on the shirt. But it's weird that they've done this because there's an interesting thing with this, and I haven't seen this anywhere else. And this was one of them oddities that you just pass up on eBay, and you kind of like, you know what, that's unique. I'm going to go for it. And paid nearly £100 to go for it. And if you look on the inside, the ASICS training wear is just put over the club badge. So like this itself is just a normal Sunderland shirt, Black Cat. It's just a normal Sunderland shirt with this ASICS training wear badge just stitched over it. And it's way like nowadays where you get like proper training tops that they can wear, and it adds to the merch, to be honest. But back in the day, they just stuck like a generic badge shield over it, and ta-da, there's your training shirt. 98-99 season, and obviously ASICS, red and white, Lambtons. It was a fantastic time. Like, the same home shirt that was worn the season before, which was when the first Stadium of Light was opened, and every kid I knew had one of these shirts, and it was great to kind of reconnect with it. And interestingly enough, didn't have to, but I went out and I bought a Score Draw version of it. And for those who don't know, Score Draw is kind of like a retro remake. And as you can see, everything's pretty much similar to the same one. Obviously, the colours are a bit different. But look at that. Only difference is the ASICS on the collar there. On the remake, there's none. But ASICS on the collar, and obviously this one's a lot older, so there's a lot more bobbles on it. Other than that, pretty much a similar shirt. The away shirt for this one, and I'm gonna do this one outside of like the usual just recap, because this one has a story to it as well. And one of the things is, back in the day, I wasn't as big as I was, and during this whole process of collecting shirts, when I started this, I was 26 stone, and not many people know that. Like, this isn't a inspirational weight loss video. This is a inspirational lose a lot of money on a midlife crisis kind of video. And part of me growing up is I've always had problems with my weight and whatnot. And back in them days, I used to be really large. Then I got like really thin. And when these shirts were being sold off, back in the 2000s, I think it was like 2003 or something, I bought this shirt. And this is the one shirt that's like been with me throughout my whole life kind of thing. Like, I've had other shirts and obviously I didn't take care of them, came off in the wash, ended up having to donate them or chuck them in somewhere. But this shirt has stuck with me. And the reason it stuck with me was I bought it as a triple XL at JJB Sports, if that's still a thing. And this only cost me £5. Nowadays, it's like worth about 150, 175 from what I've seen. But this shirt I've had with me the whole time. This shirt has so many memories. And like, when I was at my largest, this was probably the only shirt that fit me, that I owned. And that got me through that. And like I say, when I started this back in February, I was around about 26 stone. I'll put up the embarrassing like weight pictures, but I'm now like down to around about 19, 18 stone now. And collecting all these shirts and getting them all in my sizes, like XLs, double XLs. And we'll get onto it later, like how different the sizing is, like depending on the decade and whatnot. But having them all try to fit, it's been an inspiration for me to slim down. And this shirt alone, like being a triple XL, it's helped me so much. And when my daughter was born in 2008, this was the shirt I was wearing. This was the first like piece of fabric outside of like the blanket that my daughter touched. And there's pictures of me in it, and it's one of them things, memories. Like, it's not so much like the Niall Quinn playing in it. I think it was when he switched to be goalkeeper at Bradford or something like that. Like, you know, the Niall Quinn kind of like memory in that. But Quinn in this shirt, that's one memory. But the birth of my daughter is connected to this shirt. And I know it might not mean much to anybody collecting or anything, but these shirts have memories attached to them, whether that's with the club or in your personal life. And I know a lot of you out there will have shirts that'll have like personal memories attached, but this one's a special one for me. There's 97-98 away one, and this one has a lot of painful memories attached to it. It is obviously the playoff golden away shirt. Now, this shirt, I only have like the normal version of it. I don't have the Wembley patch or anything else like on that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But obviously the pain that's attached to this, Mickey Gray missing that penalty, it still hurts to this day because it was a crap penalty, and he admits it. It's just, there's nothing else to say about it. And interestingly enough, like the season after, this shirt was actually used as our third shirt, and there's a lot of things like that happened like in previous years where like away shirts then became third shirts after. But I personally like the gold one. even though it's got like bitter memories attached to it. 96, 97, our first like season back in the Premier League. It was memorable for a lot of reasons. However, this was like our last year at Roker Park, and obviously it was the year we got relegated, but you can't really knock it because this shirt, the red and white, it has all of like the Roker Park stand names in the pattern. It has the Avec pattern woven in, and it's just a really good shirt. Like, I know they've done a remake of this one. I didn't go out and buy a remake one because it's just missing that Avec pattern, and I like this one. And the red and white one, absolutely fantastic. Great if you've got it. The Vaux Samson sponsor, great memories attached to that. On the away shirt, again, the Avec kind of sublimation interwoven with the whole white shirt. Scorpion Lager, which was a really good drink, but it was discontinued quite a while back. And there's an interesting one for these. Going back to the home shirt. Now, this was the one you could buy, and as you can see there, it's got the badge on. You can see the clock stand and terraces and everything like woven into it with the Avec pattern. But there's a difference here, as you can get the ones with the Avec label on, and that is like the generic club store-bought one. But they also released some shirts that were similar, but as you'll notice here, there's a black label. Now, to my understanding, it just says Roker Park, and I believe there is a black label on the side as well. Yep, black label on the side. Now, to my understanding, these shirts were released, and when they were released, they came out with a certificate, and you got a little certificate from Bob Murray just saying thank you for supporting the club. And if you can get one of these shirts, one of these black label shirts, and you can get it with one of them certificates, the price goes up like tenfold nearly, because these are official collector's items now. And like I say, it's very similar to the normal store-bought one, but these ones, as the farewell to Roker Park, this is proper historic memorabilia, and I'd love to get hold of one of them certificates at some point in the future. But it's one of them shirts from your childhood. I absolutely love it. 94, 95, and I'm going to just do the away one here. This is probably one of the most underrated shirts. It was once announced as the most ugliest shirt in British football. I can't remember who said it, but it was given as that, and this is the yellow one with the green stripes down. Now, the thing is, I absolutely love originality. I love when we try something new. I love when it doesn't work, but then later in years, everyone looks back and goes, oh, wasn't that a good shirt? And personally, this yellow shirt was iconic for so many reasons. And then we go to the season before, and it's the same home shirt, and this home shirt had the unique one where it had like a step pattern, which cut off the sleeve, and the players that you remember from this, like Martin Scott, Kevin Ball, Steve Agnew, of all people. there's one to Google. So all these players that I remember with this shirt. And it was a fun time because this was where we were like pushing for promotion. Peter Reid had just came in. Obviously, cheer up Peter Reid just out there. And we go back to the year before that, and we look at the away shirt there, which is the away Avec teal shirt. And this shirt reminds me, I went to Derwent Hill with this shirt on. There's photos of me somewhere in my mum's house where it's just me as a young kid running around Derwent Hill with this shirt on. And like they say, the personal memories with this, Mickey Bridges was just breaking into the side, everything like that. And it's just like fantastic little memories that are attached to it. However, got some unique shirts from that period. Now, I was lucky enough, when you scour in eBay, there's chances that'll come up, and you might not have the money at the time, but there are chances that come up when you do have money at the time. And I was lucky enough to see a match-worn shirt. And the reason I bought these two shirts, because usually I'd be reluctant to spend any more money. I spent a lot on these shirts. But wait there. And with the teal one, I didn't think I'd get hold of the teal one, one of the official teal ones, but I actually got it in an absolute bargain. But this, I ended up buying this one, which is another Score Draw remake. And like I say, I wanted to have at least a chance of having a shirt, but this one is different compared to the real one. As you can see there, the Avec pattern that goes in through it versus just a generic blank one. And the thing is, like, as much as I like Score Draw doing the retro, like, kind of remakes, like, it's just not the same. It's one that you can wear it, you can walk around in and that, but nothing beats the real thing, to be honest. The real thing The real thing came for opportunity when I managed to get a match worn one. As you can see here, look, the white sponsor around the box. These were given to the players, and back in them days, I think actually in these days, you've got to actually give room for the sponsor to actually stand out, and it didn't stand out. So a way around that was they put a patch on, and if you look closely, I don't know if the light catches that, but you can see there's the Avec triangles are actually woven into the white patch. It's a nice bit of intricate design. And this was from one of my favourite players at the time, Dariusz Skibicki. And this is, like, he was one of, like, the leading appearance holders for Sunderland. Nearly broke the record, but was absolutely robbed in my opinion. And I will stick by that. But as you can see, the felt name patch and everything. And like I said, I don't usually buy player-worn shirts, but for this sponsor, and it just by happened that this wasn't the only one. Same kind of year, another one, and it's the home one. Look, it's still got the same, the Avec triangles, if I can get that close enough. It's got the Avec triangle pattern on. And this is amazing. This is amazing to have, even as the Nationwide League patches on. This is a match worn one. And it was worn by Andy Melville. And I believe it was one of Andy Melville's relatives that was selling this on eBay. And it was just by chance that I came across it. And like I was over there, and they were like, "Oh, we can get Andy to sign it." And I was like, "No, but please tell him thank you for being a really good player for us." Like, I'm one of them ones I don't like really having like a signed shirt as much. Like the Wes Brown one's obviously like a separate one, or the Alan Brown one, because they were that was part of the deal to have them signed. But the player has to wear the shirt, has to make you remember them in the shirt. And Andy Melville was certainly one of them players. Like he wasn't considered to be one of the better defenders. But personally, like me as a kid when I watched Sunderland, like I said, Dariusz Skibicki was my favourite player. Andy Melville was definitely one of them players that you just remembered. And like having this shirt and having this like kind of sponsor like overlay on, like I'm going to treasure this. I'm going to make sure it's looked after. Another one of them ones that's like a historic piece. And you know, I'm thankful that I've managed to get hold of it. From 91 to about 94ish, we've got the home shirts, which are the simple red and white with the collar arrows on. Absolutely iconic shirt. These are the ones that kind of like I know a lot of the hierarchy still look at and absolutely love, because these are the shirts that their generation grew up with. And go on to the away shirt, obviously the iconic 1992 white with the green dash pattern and whatnot, which was then replicated later on to great success. Obviously these shirts are iconic. This home shirt, there were so many options for it. Like I didn't think that I would get one of the original ones, but I did. I managed to get the original one. Pristine condition. This was rated a 10 out of 10 on classic football shirts, and it cost me around about £199.99. So £200 for this, and this is double XL. Like once again, I'll say the sizing on these ones, absolute nightmare. But that is pristine condition, no bobbles or anything. For its age, that is outstanding. And when you get into retro shirt collecting, you realise condition is a huge part of it. So getting something like that rates the star rating up to like a 5. However, I didn't think I'd get hold of one. So I went out and I ended up buying a fan one. These are, you find a lot of fan replicas because there used to be a market for it. There still is a market for it, in fact. There still is a market for it, as these ones have like the badges on, but the stuff's like kind of subliminated on. It's a much lesser quality. And obviously this one with the white border is for the match worn shirts, which was in demand. So like there was like a retro trader and whatnot that used to make these shirts because the demand was there, but the club just wouldn't make them. And in all honesty, the demand is still there, and the club are starting to make them. So fingers crossed they can get the licenses for like Umbro or Nike or anything like that. I mean, I'll get into it later, but these ones, like, I ended up paying like over the odds for this. I was absolutely robbed, to be honest, but this was early in the journey and I was desperate, and I thought, you know, I'll never get hold of one of the official ones. And then obviously I did, which was great, but like, it's not the same without the felt. And then when we get to it, the club did re-release it, and they released the match worn one with the white like standout thing. And this is, like I say, this is like obviously the badge isn't the same material as the original badge, which you'll see here is kind of like it's kind of like a puffy vinyl, like a felt almost. Like I'd love them to do these badges again, because these badges, like they were amazing. Obviously the colours ran and it worn out quite quickly, but like it's not exactly the same, but like it's a more sturdier quality, especially if you're going to wear this one. Obviously the patches and the puffy arrows on there, fantastic quality. And this one was actually cheaper than the fan rip-off one. So you live and learn. And so that concludes the 90s, which was a very interesting year. And as we go back now, obviously shirts weren't made every season, so they're going to be very narrow, few and far between, but there's some very interesting shirts there. And as I've gone back in time, obviously we're now into the like historical kind of sort of museum pieces now. So getting hold of these ones was much more difficult, but we'll run a cost and we'll run how much money I've spent. And I'm going to go cry in a corner as I edit this. So here now with some of the 80s shirts, and some of these 80s shirts, they extended to the 90s, but I've left them off the 90s because these were released in the 80s. So first off, here we have the Hummel Yellow re-release. This was a third kit, which wasn't really for sale. There's a few player ones knocking about. It's one of the retro remix capsules, and this was £50 from the Sunderland store. As you can see, it is the yellow and black theme, and there's going to be a lot of yellow shirts here. And yeah, I like it. Here we have the home kit from the late 80s, early 90s. And as you can see, it is a Hummel. This is one of the best kits remembered by most fans, as most fans like myself, who are like kind of middle-aged. These were the shirts that we were first brought into the club with. And obviously you've got that bias of your own kind of decade, your own kind of era. And yeah, these ones were the Vaux ones. As you can see, the Vaux felt. The badge, again, was like a kind of pressed bubble vinyl felt, which, like I say, I've already said, I would love to see again. Made by Hummel. You've got the chevrons, and the best part about this for me, and you'll see this on the away in the third kit, is the Hummel Sublimination. And these are another one of them ones where I said when I first get into retro collecting, you don't realise how like varying and different the sizes can be. And onto the away shirt to accompany the home one, as you can see, the same kind of Hummel Sublimination. The Vaux is white this time because it's on the blue background. The badge is less faded on this one, and like I say, these pieces now, you're looking like nearly 30, 40 years old. And as we're going back, we're now going back literally into history, into time. And I've used the term museum pieces quite a bit. These literally are the kind that you will see in museums now. The rarer they get, and you'll see the price, the difficulty. Most of these shirts will be a 5-star. Most of these shirts will be in like the hundreds of pounds, as is this one. Another XL one. And this one was the one that inspired the blue kit for the 25-26 season, the current season. Only they had their own twist on it. And yeah, it's a good kit, but he's a more interesting one. So the third kit to accompany them, and this is a very interesting kit, as it is the blue and the yellow. It is a really smart looking kit, and it's really one of the ones that people absolutely love. However, it's so difficult to get hold of. It is so hard to try and find this, to the point that I actually found this on somebody's Etsy. That's how hard it was. Not Vinted, not eBay, none of the collector shirt things. I had to find this on Etsy. And as you can see with the yellow and blue, this has sparked a lot of people. Like, obviously it being one of the more in-demand kits, it has, with this being one of the more in-demand kits, you can tell that it has had a lot of kind of replicas in a lot of ways. And as I was searching, like, I got this first, ironically, and then all the rest of them came out. I'll just show you. We'll just go through them. We have the obvious fake from a kind of sweatshop one, and I bought this from what I thought was a reputable site, and we'll get on to another one that I bought. But as you can probably see there, like, it's got the chevrons and that, but the colour difference, there's no pattern. The Vaux, it's just a bit of felt stuck on. The badge is clearly oversized, and the Hummel tag, if you can see that Hummel tag is honking, so to speak. And this is an XL. And like you'll not be able to tell, but like it's literally the arrows are painted on with some kind of like sticky fabric paint. It's the kind that, you know, where they'll fold, when you fold the clothes over, and if they stick together, you'll end up having to tear them off. So that was a waste of my time and money. And it took like 12 weeks for them to send it anyway. So that was a terrible one. We have the score draw version of it, which, as you can tell, like stack it up next to it. It's similar. The Vaux on the original is a lot bigger and a lot better print. Obviously, the badge again is a larger one, but this is an official like kind of replica, and there's no chevrons on the sleeve. So it's like I know the one that they have to like not breach copyright and whatnot, but that's terrible. And I'm hoping that they bring a replica of this out at some point. However, one of the more interesting ones from the 80s is they brought out another third strip similar to this, but it had a blue Vaux, as you can see. Now, this shirt's from ERS, and that was, I believe it was an actual former Sunderland player was releasing retro shirts. So Ellis retro shirts here. This one here is a 2XL, and I got this one because it has the blue Vaux, and I'll put that a bit closer there if you can see in the light. Yep. So the pattern's kind of there. It's subliminated on. It's not as like kind of stitch sublimation like the original, but yeah, this is like kind of like the bluer version, and this was used for one of the years till they reverted to the black. And this one was pricey as well because, once again, these ones are highly collectible. Now this one, as you can see here, this shirt, another yellow one, and this is a special one. This is considered to be a grail for some people. This is another ERS copy. It's not an official one. It is the yellow with the kind of like pinstripes down, centralized badge, Fox sponsor, and this is the Mercantile Credit away shirt. I believe it was one for one or two league games as well, but it's mainly known as the Mercantile one, as we went down to Wembley to do a tournament for the FA. I think we played like half an hour against Wigan and then we were out. So this was like late 80s, early 90s. As you can see, it's done by Patrick. And there's been a lot of people who want this kind of like re-released as its own kind of shirt. And I'd personally like to see it. And I've paid a lot for this one because even the replicas are quite expensive for it. Okay, 86, 88 home strip here. And it is the classic. It is the first time we used Vaux, and it is made by Patrick. As you can see, this is an original one. The centralised badge, the Vaux, with the white outline, the colour scheme. This is similar and akin to this season, and I say this season, the 25 to 26 season shirt. This was the inspiration. This was the kind of template for it. And it is one of the more fondly remembered, but as I say, as we're going back in time, we're going to a time where football strips were aimed mainly more for kids. So this one, I believe, is like a medium. Absolutely going nowhere near me. I'd probably be able to fit one arm in and that's it. But still, as you can see, it's had damage around the collar. It's got a bit damage around where the Vaux is stitched in. I'd hopefully get that repaired. But it's an amazing shirt for what it is. And it is the inspiration of what we have for the current day. And I'm glad that they actually took inspiration from it. And with the home one, here is the away equivalent to that. Now, this one here is an interesting story, as I found it on Classic Football Shirts, paid an absolute minute. I ummed and ahed about this because I think it was like in the hundreds, and I was kind of like, do I get it? Do I not get it? It's once again, not my size. It's a smaller size, but this is the official, the original. And it was great to have the original one because, as you can see, the sublimation, like the blue and white stripes are different kind of shades. One's shiny, one's like kind of a matte. Once again, centralized badge. And this one is a sponsor of Turborg, which was the lager. Once again, made by Patrick. And this one was a funny story because I originally went out and I bought a fan-made one. As you can see there, if we go a bit closer, we go fan-made one, which once again, it's a fake. Stack it up next to it. As you can see, different shades of blue. This one, the fake ones are a bit more darker. Obviously, you don't get like the shiny and normal blue stripes, and the Turborg, it's just printed on with vinyl. It's not as like this one's kind of like a felt, where this one is just like, it's a normal vinyl transfer. So I paid quite a bit for that one, obviously thinking I'd never get the original one. And then as I bought this one, the day it arrives, Sunderland decided to go out and re-release. So part of the current deal, I believe Sunderland have with Lonsdale, and they have the rights to the old Patrick strip. So they re-released this one. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different as like the sleeves are a little bit wider. But if you stack them up together, you can see it's very similar to it. The Turborg is a little bit more like a puffy felt, a bit more like the Vaux one, rather than just like a flatter felt on the original one. Obviously, the badge is of a higher quality. These ones were re-released to be worn in general, I believe. But like you get the pattern on it, you get the shiny bits and all of that. So I'm glad they re-released this. And I'll just tack on that one that they re-released the yellow Turborg one as well. So they had just like a plain yellow Turborg one. This was one of the rarer ones as well. Once again, this is a retro remake of it, but it's good to have. It's good to have, and they're to wear about. But the original itself, that's in my collection. So here's where the struggle begins, and trying to find like authentic shirts before this time. This is like mid-80s now, and it got so hard, and we went for the Nike ones. I tried to get hold of one of the original Nike home ones, because this is one of the club's historic shirts, because this was the first kind of like a football shirt that Nike ever released in the UK. So it's really hard to get hold of. It's around about £300 to £500, which is quite steep. However, you can get the score draw ones, which I got. I got the score draw one. As you can see, there's no Nike tick on it. It's just kind of like a basic plain one. It's not going on the dummy because it's a fake. I don't really want to put the fake ones on the dummy, to be honest. And like to a lesser extent, you got the one which was sponsored by Cowies. Once again, this one, score draw, remake, the Cowies sponsor, as we had different sponsors with the Nike ones. Famous for having the badge on the other side, as opposed to the normal side that it's usually on. Moving on with that as well, they had the away strip, which once again, I got the Cowies score draw one, which again, it's got no Nike tick. It's now like the original one. Still looking for that one then. I also actually went out and got a fan made one. As you can see there, it has the Nike tick on, and it has like the stripes on. No sponsor though. So it's quite close, but not close enough. And to round out the Nike ones, we have another fake fan made one. As you can see, Nike on it, Turborg, yellow third strip. There's Nike on the sleeves as well. So this one's actually quite a realistic copy, but not quite official. And score draw as well, tried to do it. Actually got the score draw one, had the Nike on, which surprised me. But as you can see, like it's a duller yellow. I believe the Cowies sponsor was on this one. There's photos of it with like the small Cowies logo on. And this one was also one. So I was absolutely like, this challenge has taken over like nearly a year and a half, and I'm still searching for the Nike shirts. In better news already, and this is like this part of the journey, we are early 80s. This is the last official oldest shirt that I have currently, and I'm still looking for the rest. But this is the Lecoq Sportif Butcher's Carrier Bag one. This shirt came as an XL. Got from an official source. As you can see, the stitching on the badge is very, very amateurish. The Lecoq Sportif patches on the side, it is made of a very flimsy felt, and some of the felt has disappeared. So I'd hopefully love to get kind of like a replacement for that. But this shirt is quite possibly one of the more iconic ones, as it was absolutely hated. And to this day, it's kind of like went around that whole circle of being the most hated to kind of like a cult classic. And that is to the point that they did the score draw remake. And the score draw one, as you can see, it's very similar. It's not made out of the same material. This one's more like a modern day breathable one, whereas this is just like cotton. Like absolutely, you would stain that and you would never get it off. score draw, like I say, it's another replica, and just to get that, and you can wear this one like anywhere, but trying to get this in like a decent size. I actually tried to contact Score Draw on Facebook just to see if they still made these ones, and I got nothing. So I'm not sure if Score Draw as a company is still going. And we'll get sticking with the Le Coq Sportif. Managed to get a Score Draw away one for this season. Once again, another replica. The Le Coq Sportif on the side there is subliminated on the sleeve. I don't know if you can see that. Poor lighting in here, but yeah, it's just like it's another one then that you can just wear about. And I only got this one in like a large because like trying to get these older Score Draw shirts is an absolute nightmare in itself as well. And I'll finish off the Le Coq Sportif ones as I managed to get another Score Draw, and this one, you may see there, it's an older tag, so this one was actually brought out a lot older than this one, and it is the red third away kit, which is another one of those shirts that's kind of like a grail for Sunderland fans. And getting the old Score Draw one of this one, I was quite chuffed with it, and it's hardy, it's there, and I also bought a fake long sleeve version. This is one of another fan remake. Extra large, as you can see, it's clearly, you know, it's nowhere near the same. And trying to get a real one of these, as you say, the Coq Sportif on the side there, if you try and get a real one of these is a nightmare. So that's it for these 80s shirts, and we're going to move even further back in time. Right, so I'm just going to be quick with these ones. These are all Umbros, like late 70s re-releases. Once again, as you can see, quality of the badge is a lot better. It's a lot sturdier. These are hardy. These are supposed to be worn. These were re-released by Umbro, and trying to get a shirt from the 70s, they run into the thousands now. Like, as you can see, the style is very similar, but like the more modern Umbro thing, because that's usually like a smaller diamond that's just kind of like stitched on, and obviously the badge will either have been printed on or it will be a lot different. Trying to get like an original one of these, it's so difficult and it's so expensive. As with that one, we've got the blue away one. As you can see, these ones you can easily get hold of. I went on eBay, got them. I think it was around about £30 for that one. And you've got the white away one. There we go. Like I say, it's similar ones. You get the pattern. The Umbro pattern on the sleeve there. Nothing else to really write home about. And I'll finish this one off with a Score Draw of the 1973 FA Cup final shirt. Once again, another replica. Getting an original one of these, like, you know, literal museum pieces. Like the players have it, the players' families have it, museums have it. I think the club has one in the foyer of the Stadium of Light, and trying to get an original one of these, absolutely no chance. And this was one of the difficult points now, this point in the challenge, where I actually go back and I can't find the originals because they are so expensive. And if you're getting into collecting shirts, if you get into retro collecting shirts, you will find that there is so much money involved in it, especially with like the more historic pieces, because either museums have it or private collectors or private, like, you know, players' families. They are keepsakes, they are hand-me-downs and heirlooms. And if you're just a private collector, go into this and know that you will have to pay an absolute fortune for them. I did find a few interesting shirts. Now, this one here is a Toffs. It's a reproduction, and we're getting to Toffs a lot, because they do like the older shirts. Now, I believe this was late 60s. It has the SAFC shield on. Now, it's got a number 4 on. I don't know who number 4 was. It's not match worn or anything like that. It's got the Toffs tag on in there. But this is a long sleeve version of one, and I've tried to look for the history. I've tried to look for when we played with that shield badge, and I can't find it anywhere. So I'm not sure if this is a reproduction, like an accurate reproduction, or just kind of like a vanity one with the old SAFC shield on. But we'll see. And it's a nice little extra one. So one that I'm going to look further in and research as I go along. Right, coming to the end of the challenge, and as I've already stated, like getting the older shirt is so difficult to get hold of. And I actually had to think a bit creatively. So I looked onto the old history site. I researched a lot of all of the old shirts, all of the old styles. And it came around about like the late 60s, mid 60s, that we used to just go out with like a kind of monogram on. And that's where this shirt comes in. Now, this is a long sleeve red shirt. And in my research, I found a red shirt, a blue shirt, and a white shirt. And on these shirts, I found two distinct monograms. We have the one here with just the S, the A, the F, and the C. Maybe the dashes were a little bit too big on the reproduction, but this is made by me. This is designed by me. And as I can't see there'll be any copyright on just a monogram or like a kind of font on it. This is an easy win. Like if you're watching this, anyone from like the merch department at Sunderland AFC, like these are just Gillian shirts, and I just went out and like with these ones, the old SAFC, the big S monogram, which is quite famous. I just went out and got these embroidered, and it cost me like about £80 for the lot, and this is 6 shirts. Like this is the shirts and embroidery included. As I say, went out, got the red one, got a white one as well. The white one's actually really, really nice. And we got a blue one too. And I believe like only the away shirts had these on, because the red and white home ones, I don't believe actually had the monograms on. But I got them ones, and similar to this one, I just went out and got the same SAFC pattern. Like it's 2 different types of monograms, and it's just Gildian shirts. Like these are just like bog standard Gildian shirts that everyday use. I went for long sleeve on all of them because the photos that I looked at matched them, but I had to get creative because there was no chance I was going to go out and get an original one of these, because there's no chance of that. So like the club aren't going to release them. So I thought to myself, you know what, just for fun, I'll go out and I'll create my own. And there they are, like a couple of quid. I've got an interesting like collection. Like obviously I don't even know if there was a blue or a white of the certain monograms, or a red one. Well, actually, I do know there was a red, but like this is historically going back, and it's similar to the kind of sentiment I had with the luminous yellow and cobalt blue one, third strip from like a few seasons ago, where I was actually just going to go out and make my own because it was unable to get it. And if this goes to show anything, it is that there is a desire out there within the fan base, and I know it's not just me. I know. Like this is a challenge that I'm doing, that I want to do and complete, and just to go like down memory lane for all the Sunderland shirts. But I'm telling you now, if the club store like just made these, get your own shirts in, monogram them, bang. Like I think like what if you've got the right connections, you're looking at around about a cost of £5 per shirt, and you can like knock them out for 30 quid each. Easy profit. Put that money in, get Usman Dembele in this summer. Easy money. So we're in the last leg now. And this is the 1937 FA Cup shirt. As you can see there, it's the red and white, and this is the old fabric. This is a short sleeve version, remake by Toffs, and once again, historic pieces. You'll probably find one in the foyer at the Stadium of Light as well. It's got the buttons there, and this old badge, which is the Sunderland City crest, which is the sexton with the globe and Nil Desperandum Ospai Steel, which is where I get Nil Desperandum SAFC, because in Latin it's just don't despair Sunderland. That's basically what it translates into. So you've got a bit of lore of my own personal one, but this one is the 1937 Cup winners one. And if we move a little further back, we have the 1913 FA Cup final shirt, the first FA Cup final that Sunderland was ever involved in, and that was against Aston Villa. I'm going to be doing a video on that soon at the old Crystal Palace, but like you say, an even older City of Sunderland crest, as you can see, because when we get to the cup finals, back then they didn't have badges, they didn't have the monograms. If you went to a cup final, you had the privilege of wearing your city's crest of arms. And once again, this Nil Desperandum Ospai Steel, the sexton, the globe. Now, obviously it's underwent a lot of edits, but these ones, the old style ones done by Toffs, they've got the drawstring on the collar there, and this one's came loose here, which can be a nightmare if you want to wear it casually. And I love to wear this one casually because I've got a huge affinity with the match this shirt was worn at. And it is a fantastic old-timey shirt, long sleeve. Like the material is close to the original, but there are some slight differences. And like I say, front foyer of the Stadium of Light, you'll be able to see the original 1913 shirt. It's a little bit more elastic on it than these ones, but it's quite accurate to it. And honestly, if you go on the stadium, even if you ask just to walk into the foyer at the Stadium of Light, have a look at some of the history around there, because it's all amazing. And I'm going to finish this off. With a last replica shirt that I have, and this is the earliest iteration. It is supposedly the first red and white Sunderland top. As you can see, long sleeve. It's got Sunderland Football Club on here. Before we were an association football club, I'd assume. But this was the earliest iteration of a shirt that we could get commercially. And it is another one by Toffs, and I thought this one would be impossible to come by. I went to the fan museum and they had one of these on, and I asked how much it was, and they said it wasn't for sale as it was that rare. And I was okay with that, because even though it's a replica, it is a really old one. I can assume this will be highly collectible. And 2 days later on Vinted, this appeared and I couldn't buy it fast enough. And it went up for a tenner. So, like, this nearly impossible replica shirt of one of the oldest shirts for Sunderland AFC, and bang, it's up for a tenner. So that ends the collection, and that ends what is about a year and a half of my life, where I have went out and I've bought so many shirts. I've spent so much money buying these shirts, and I've got originals, and I'm not even close to completing a full collection. And as I'm recording this, it's this is the final shirt. So yeah, let's have a recap of the price, and let's put you out of your misery. That is it. That is the end. I have spent thousands of pounds on these shirts, and I will probably spend thousands of more on future shirts. But to me, when I started this challenge, this was just a fun little YouTube idea, trying to get out there, trying to, as this channel will be promoting the history of Sunderland, celebrating the history of Sunderland, looking into the history of Sunderland AFC, what better way than to go through every single Sunderland shirt historically that I can get my hands on. It was my first venture into retro shirt. This has been a hell of a journey, and it's made me a little bit more appreciative of the whole shirt process, to be honest, and getting into collecting retro shirts, as I know there's a huge collecting community out there now. I know that there's a lot of people who have a lot of money, mostly because of me. But looking at the different collections, the journey through there, and it's the memories that are connected to the shirts that have really made this challenge worthwhile. I didn't realize to myself there's so much personal story behind every shirt that I've collected along the way, and every single one I've appreciated. And I can now actually put this to bed, nearly a year and a half, a year of collecting, and I keep collecting more, and there's still more to collect. There's still long sleeve versions, there's still match worn versions that you can get hold of. There are still more historic ones out there. There are prototypes that are still being found even to this day, and they're all out there to be collected at some point, and I don't think this will ever end. But I also have the goalkeeper shirts. So there's so many shirts along this way, and I've bought goalkeeper shirts along this as well. So I've spent another couple of hundred there, but I haven't gone into it because I fancy doing a second part of this where I've actually went out and tried to buy all the goalkeeper shirts, and that's just going to be ongoing. I'll drop that whenever. And just keep a look on my updates, because I will probably update now for every new shirt that I buy. Probably do a deep dive. I could do a whole series, a deep dive into every individual shirt as I go along. That's an idea, but I'd like to get into the storytelling of the club, showing off. Obviously, I'm working with This Is Wearside, showing off the process for tifos and displays and flags and all of that. That's still to come, and looking at seasons past and seasons to come, and just giving an insight there. And it has been a hell of a journey for me personally. This video has taken a year and a half of my life, and it's probably I'll probably get around to releasing this start of May. So the season will just be ending the season when this whole like journey was supposed to finish. It's taken me a whole season just to edit it and add things on as I went along, and it's been a hell of a journey. It has been a hell of a journey. Thank you to everyone who's sold to me, everyone who's helped with the history side of it, with my research side of it, and just for being there. You know, thanks to my wife for being understanding, and thank you to Klarna for allowing me to buy things that I can't afford. So with all of that said, thank you, and thank you to you out there for watching, for sitting there for possibly like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on how long this video gets edited to. Thank you for being there on this journey with me. I hope you've had a great insight, a great journey with me down memory lane throughout all of the shirts, and I hope you're there for my future videos as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.